If you are a real estate investor or you want to be a real estate investor and you need more funding for your deals, regardless of your credit, regardless of your experience or your verification of income, don't go anywhere, because in just a moment I'm going to plug you into the funding for your deals, again, regardless of credit, income, or experience. Before I do that, I want to welcome you to Free Coaching Friday. My name is Jay Conner, known as the Private Money Authority across the nation and also in Canada. And we come to you every Friday afternoon, or most Friday afternoons, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, right now we are live, but also we keep all the recordings on this Facebook page. So once the replay is up and has been published, which we'll do right after this Free Coaching Friday for real estate investors, we'll post it, and you can go back and watch hours and hours and hours of content. I've been presenting and giving Free Coaching Fridays. We're now in our 10th month. We're now having as many views as 20,000 views a week of real estate investors interested in this kind of information. So who in the world, if this is your first time at Free Coaching Friday, I'll just tell you real quick. Who in the world is Jay Conner, and why am I qualified to talk to you about real estate investing? Well, my wife, Carol Joy, and I, we've been investing in single-family houses and commercial projects now for 20 years, including the commercial. We live in Eastern North Carolina. We do 3 to 4 transactions a month right now, with average profits exceeding $70,000 on the single-family houses. And even though we started back 20 years ago, we didn't start using private money for funding until as recent as 8 years ago. I was using lines of credit at the bank up until that time, and we were cut off with no notice from the banks. We had a perfect credit score, never late on payments, but if you recall what was going on back in 2008, 2009, it was like the spigot was turned off overnight. So anyway, I was introduced to this wonderful world of private money. And since then, we've been funding our deals, and I've never missed out on a deal because we did not have the money. So before I plug you into the money on this Free Coaching Friday, let me tell you how we play. All right. So I want to talk about any questions that you have. In fact, I've got some questions that were already sent in ahead of time when we posted yesterday a reminder to everyone that I would be on live today. So I've got questions. You can post questions right now during the live stream, or if you're watching the replay, you can also post questions on the replay, and I can get those answered for you as well. I also want to let you know in this Free Coaching Friday, I'm going to give you a really stellar secret tip. If you're interested in rehabbing houses, one of the first questions you may have if you haven't rehabbed a house, and that is, where in the world would you find a good and reliable contractor? I'm going to answer that question in just a moment as well. So before I plug into the money in just a moment, talk about contractors and answer these questions that have been submitted, let me tell you how we play Free Coaching Friday. First of all, you'll notice right below the video that's airing, you will see a few icons. You'll see the like button, you'll see the love button, and some other icons. So whenever I say anything that you like and is meaningful to you, perhaps something you've never heard before, I'd like for you to hit the like button, the blue thumbs up button. So everybody right now, hit the blue thumbs up button. Hit the blue thumbs up button right now, and we should see, whether we're on the live play or the replay, blue thumbs up coming across the screen right now. Now, right after you hit the thumbs up icon, I'd like you to go just next to it, and there's a red heart. And I'd like for you to touch that icon when I say something that you really love and is really important to you. So right now, so everybody knows where it is, everybody hit the red heart button right now. Everybody hit the red heart button right now. We should see red hearts going across the screen right now. And then finally, before I plug you in, you'll also see right below the video the share button, okay? So everybody right now hit the share button. Everybody hit the share button right now. And now we'll be able to share this information to other real estate investors that may be interested in this information. All right, So as I promised you just a moment ago, I'm going to give you access and information as to how in the world you can get funding for your deals regardless of credit, income, and experience. We're talking about private money. First of all, what is private money versus hard money? I'm not talking about hard money. I'm talking about getting funding from individuals that you're able to go right to the source and get it. So for the sake of time, I'm going to give you a online, free, it's on demand, free class webinar that you can go to right after you watch either this live recording or you're watching the replay. So go now, or go when we finish, to www.jayconner.com. I'm an ER, not an OR. JAYCONNER.com/money webinar. Money webinar. And the money webinar piece of that URL is all in lowercase. So jayconner with an ER.com/money webinar. In that online class, I will show you the 5 steps on how you get funding from people in what I call the warm market. I'll also show you the 5 easy steps on how you get funding from existing private lenders. I'll also give you some bonus tips on where to go to a third category of people that you can get funding from as well. I've got thousands and thousands of students across the nation now that are now using the private money. Here's why the private money is so important. You know, even if you're going to talk with someone about creative financing, talking about buying their house with either owner financing or subject to the existing note, etc., I've learned from experience only 13% of for sale by owners will sell to us with creative financing. The other 87% want all the money right at closing. So if you don't have the money lined up, then you miss out on the deal. All right? So that's how you get the funding. The other thing I promised you by the way, if that was valuable to you, you're going to find out where to get the funding. Everybody right now, give me a thumbs up or a red heart coming across the screen. Right now, thumbs up or a red heart. All right. Now, before I answer these questions that have been submitted, and by the way, if you've got a question, you can put it in the comment bar right now, either while we're live or if you're watching a replay. Now, I promised you just a moment ago that I was also going to give you a really strong tip on how to find good contractors to work with if you're new to rehabbing, and where to go to do that. Well, in most areas, in most towns and cities, you have what's called the Builders Association. The Builders Association. And most anyone can join that association, whether you have a contractor's license or not. You've got a lot of subcontractors, such as electricians and plumbers, that are members of the Builders Association, and they don't have a contractor license. So since you could join that association and become involved in it, you can go to their monthly meeting and network with the people that are there, and tell the people as you are networking there that you are a real estate investor. You're looking to work with a contractor when you have a house comes along that may need some light repair or perhaps a heavy rehab. Then you're looking for somebody to work with. And so through that networking process, you'll be introduced to a lot of people in your area, and it's very easy to find out who have the good reputations and the bad reputations. So there's the tip on finding good contractors to work with. Of course, I have other ways and strategies that you can find contractors, but that is a very, very quick way that you can really start to know and learn who are the movers and shakers in your area that do contract work. Some contractors only want to do new buildings or new houses, and some contractors, like the lighter rehab projects. So join the local Builders Association. It's very, very inexpensive, and you'll get to find out who can help you. All right, I've never in the past 10 months given that tip or strategy on finding contractors. So if that tip and strategy is helpful to you, give me either a thumbs up right now coming across the screen, or give me a red heart coming across the screen, or in fact, give me both a thumbs up and a red heart coming across the screen. All right.
My update won't let me do those just in case somebody's running into a problem.
Oh, okay. Very good.
I can't find it on here.
Okay. Carol Joy is here with me, as she is most of the time. We're traveling right now this week. We're out here in Phoenix, Arizona. And so she's saying that due to the new iOS update, she's unable to find some of those icons. So if you're having trouble finding some of those icons, then keep looking, or come back to the replay if you would, and give me some thumbs up and some red hearts. All right.
I have a couple of questions.
Oh, a couple of questions? Sure, I can go and answer.
David Villarreal has asked.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's a contractor, and he's asked where he can plug into private lending money at an event of yours. So has Ron Smith asked about when's your next workshop?
Oh, okay. So Ron and David, hello, glad to have you here. In fact, before I answer that question about where and when is my next live event, I'd like to hear whether you're watching the live broadcast right now or you are watching the replay. And I know most people are watching the replay, but either one, I want to know where you're from. So right now, everybody type in, whether you're live or whether you are watching the replay, type in your first name and say, hello everybody, this is David from, and give the city and state. Or hello, this is Ron, from city and state. So everybody type in right now, whether you're on the live stream or you're watching the replay, say hey to everybody, your first name and your city and state. Okay, so let me answer those questions that both David and Ron asked. So I have a live event. Just had my most recent live event in Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. I don't know another live event like this. It's a 3-day event. Typically have it on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And so I have so much going on at this real estate investing conference. We call it the Cash Flow Conference. First of all, we have, I teach a full 3/4 day on private money. We dig down even deeper than I have time to on the webinar that you're going to watch that I gave out just a moment ago. And so we have private money training. We also have private lenders at the event. We had 9 private lenders at the event last week that you get to network with. We go on our rehab bus tour. You get to meet our contractors, our crew leaders, our interior designer, Beth Garner. This past week I had 3 bus loads. I had each bus held 55 people. We went to houses on that bus tour, houses that were under rehab. I teach how I found the houses, the dollars that we spent on buying the houses, how much each house is costing, how long it takes, and what the profit is on each house. We also went to a house that was totally finished and rehabbed and totally staged that we had just put in the multiple listing service. So you get to meet our realtor that we do business with. The second day is amazing. I teach my foreclosure system, how I find deals before other real estate investors find them. My 72-hour selling system, how I can sell any house in 3 days or less. Of course, the private money. And then I also teach at the event automation. How do you automate the business so that you can do the business like I do, which is be in it 10 hours or less per week. So in answer to your question, David and Ron, my next live event is scheduled for January. We're still working on the exact dates with the hotel, and we're updating the website. But the schedule for next year, 2018, is my live event in January 2018, 3 months later in April, 3 months later in July, and then 3 months later in October. Again, the exact dates, we're waiting to hear back from our hotel where we have our events. Hopefully that's all going to be worked out by this coming week. So you can check back at, and we haven't updated the website yet, we'll update it as soon as we have the dates for January. It's www.jaysliveevent.com. www.jaysliveevent.com. And so with this new iOS update, I don't know, Carol Joy, if you are able to type that in or not, the jaysliveevent.com. But if you can, that would be great. Did we have another question or two come in? Yeah, jaysliveevent.com. And while Carol Joy is doing that, I had another 2 questions come in before we started airing live. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name, but the name is Anaika. If you're there with me live, say hello to everybody. But the question was, and I'll paraphrase, I don't understand how I can get 100% funding when most private lenders are requiring 20% down. That's an excellent question. So the 20% down that's being required by the lenders, they're really not private lenders. They are hard money lenders, okay? So what I teach on the webinar that I just gave out a few moments ago is how to go directly to the source to get the funding for your deals. So go to that website and I'll spell it out in, ABC step by step, how to go directly to the source at www.jayconner.com/money webinar. Another question that was sent in right before we went live a few hours ago came in from Danny Smith. And Danny asked, is it a good idea to partnership with other people right now given there's so much competition out there? And so let me comment on that for a moment, Danny. When people don't have private money, the old business model is joint venture. Somebody puts up the money, that's the private lender. The other person does the work, that's us, the real estate investor. And then at the end of the deal, you share in the profits. Well, what I teach and what you'll see, on that webinar link that I gave out, is how you get to keep 100% of the profits. So Danny, when you watch the money webinar, jayconner.com/money webinar, I'll go into detail about how you don't have to joint venture anymore. You can keep 100% of the profits by just doing business with a private lender. All right, excellent questions. On this free coaching Friday, by the way, if that information that I just answered on those two questions were of use to you, then everybody give a thumbs up right now. And better yet, also give me a red heart and shoot me a lot of love across the screen. All right, we've only got about 1 or 2 minutes left for this episode of Free Coaching Friday. Carol Joy, are there any other questions or comments that's come in before we call it a wrap?
This is Joy Saint.
I'm sorry?
Joy Saint.
Joy Saint. Hello, welcome to Free Coaching Friday.
What is the best way to get a private lender? Where should I start looking besides people I know?
Okay, so I've got what's called the Magic 44 Grid, and I go over that in detail at my live event on helping you identify and remember people that you may not even remember, or who to ask to find out who they know. But where you can go to find existing private lenders that are already loaning out their money, well, I've got my private lender data feed, okay, that I provide to my students all across the nation. This private lender data feed updates every month. We have over 12,000 existing private lenders that are coming into the data feed. Again, these are not hard money lenders. These are existing private lenders. Another place, if you, not to wait until you, by the way, also where you can find existing private lenders, on that money webinar link that I gave you, in the webinar, jayconner.com/money webinar, in that webinar, I go over what the private lender data feed is about and how you can have access to it. Along with that, you can network at a self-directed IRA events. So if you don't know what a self-directed IRA is, again, watch that jayconner.com/money webinar. I talk about self-directed IRAs. And self-directed IRAs will have events around the nation. There are existing private lenders at those events that you can network with. All right, I think we're needing to call it a wrap. Come on over here and join me, Carol Joy. We want to thank everybody.
Hey, everybody.
I want to thank everybody for joining in here on Free Coaching Friday. Carol Joy and I, we are out here in Phoenix, Arizona at Ron LeGrand's event. And teaching about private money and et cetera, how to sell houses fast and et cetera. So we're glad you're here. And Carol Joy, what would you like to say before we call it a wrap?
Well, you might notice we're both wearing pink.
Yes, there's a reason for that.
It's in honor of Breast
Cancer
Awareness Month. Is October, and cancer is not far from any of us. It's all in our families and friends. So remember to keep them in your prayers. Remember to tell them that you're fighting with them and for them in their fight.
Yes, in fact, along with that, everybody, in honor of the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, everybody right now, if you've stayed on to the end here, let's put some red hearts and love across the screen as this being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining in. Again, if you're watching the replay, hit the thumbs up, the red heart, the share button. And I'm so glad you attended. Glad you're here. And
I gotta get back to the camera.
Oh, you gotta get back to the camera. And so with that, y'all, here's to wishing you the very best in your real estate investing business. And I look forward to seeing you on another upcoming Free Coaching Friday episode. Y'all have a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.